actor who really brought, realness to television, playing a great character, playing a great son on the Cosby Show.
Y'all, what if I told you that America's favorite TV dad might have been playing the devil's game behind the scenes? That while he was handing out Jello pudding pops and fatherly advice on screen, he was allegedly pulling the strings behind one of the darkest Hollywood cover-ups we've ever seen, because baby Ice Cube just dropped a bomb. And it's got folks asking, did Bill Cosby have something to do with Malcolm Jamal Warner's death? Yes, you heard that right. You think I'm playing? Do you think this is just another Hollywood accident? Then why is Cube, one of the realest voices in the game, suddenly co-signing everything Cat Williams has been screaming for years? And now get this. Malcolm's own mother is stepping forward saying her son didn't drown by chance. She says Cosby was behind it. Phew, it ain't just some spooky coincidence. This might be the biggest betrayal in Black Hollywood history. Cosby, the mentor, accused of silencing his own TV son. So grab your popcorn, your conspiracy board, and maybe a lawyer because the receipts we're about to unpack, they don't lie. Stick around because this rabbit hole, it goes way deeper than you think. Y'all, grab your popcorn and don't blink because what we're diving into today isn't just another Hollywood tragedy. It's a tangled web of secrets, silence, and shocking allegations that go way beyond the headlines. This is a dark story behind Malcolm Jamal Warner's mysterious death and how Ice Cube has now stepped up to expose what really went down, including the deeply disturbing role he claims Bill Cosby played behind the scenes. Let's rewind the tape. Malcolm Jamal Warner, best known for playing Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show, was a beacon of black excellence in Hollywood. Charming, intelligent, and widely respected, Malcolm rose to fame in the 1980s and quickly became one of America's most beloved young actors. But fame in Hollywood often comes with a dark side, especially when you're surrounded by powerful people with secrets to hide. And according to Ice Cube, that darkness swallowed Malcolm. Now, what most people don't realize is that Malcolm and Cosby's relationship wasn't just professional. Cosby saw Malcolm as a son off-screen, too. But as Cosby's image began to crumble under decades of sexual assault allegations, it said that Malcolm started pulling away from him, publicly distancing himself and quietly warning others in the industry, and that, according to insiders, may have sealed his fate. See, not long before his death, Malcolm was working on a tell-all memoir and no-hold-barred book that was going to expose the truth about what he witnessed during his time on The Cosby Show. It reportedly contained shocking details not just about Cosby's behavior, but about how deeply other Hollywood elites were involved in covering it up. And y'all, this wasn't just gossip. Malcolm had receipts, emails, recorded conversations, legal documents, and even names of powerful executives who helped Cosby stay protected for decades. So, when Ice Cube recently went public, dropping bombshells about Cosby's involvement in Malcolm's death, people started paying attention. According to Cube, Malcolm didn't just die, he was silenced. Ice Cube claims that shortly before Malcolm's death, he tried to reach out multiple times. Malcolm allegedly told Cube he was being followed, his phone was tapped, and that they're trying to shut me up. Cube thought he was being paranoid until he got the call that Malcolm was gone. What makes this even more disturbing is how quickly the media buried the story. There was no major investigation, no autopsy reports made public. No follow-up interviews with close friends or family. It was like someone flipped a switch and the world moved on. But Cube wasn't about to let that happen. In a recent leaked interview, Ice Cube said, "I know what Malcolm told me. I know he was scared. I know he didn't die naturally, and I know Cosby had a hand in this." Now, let's talk about the alleged motive. According to industry insiders, Malcolm had grown disillusioned with Hollywood's fake smiles and dark secrets. He was planning to leave the industry altogether, but not before telling his story. And that is what made him dangerous, because the truth he held could have destroyed legacies. It could have pulled down not just Cosby, but others who still have power today. And here's where things get even messier. A former assistant who worked on The Cosby Show has come forward anonymously saying she overheard Cosby and several execs discussing Malcolm's disloyalty. She claims one of them said if he opens his mouth, we're all finished. Just weeks later, Malcolm was dead. But that's not all. Several of Malcolm's close friends, including actor Julia White, have hinted that Malcolm was under immense pressure before his death. He had become withdrawn, paranoid, always looking over his shoulder. In one emotional Instagram post, Jaleel wrote, "He warned me about what happens when you stop playing the game. I didn't get it then, but now I do. The dots are starting to connect, y'all, and yet the media stays quiet. Why? Because if what Cube is saying is true, then we're not just talking about a celebrity death. We're talking about a full-blown cover-up involving billion-dollar studios, TV networks, and some of the most recognizable names in Black Hollywood. And Cosby, he stayed silent. Not a single statement about Malcolm, not a single condolence post, nothing, which honestly speaks volumes. Ice Cube, on the other hand, says he's not afraid to speak the truth. He's already been blacklisted once for standing up against Hollywood's agenda, and he says he won't be silenced again. They already tried to cancel me. I ain't scared of them. Malcolm was my brother. He didn't deserve what happened to him." Cube said during a podcast taping, "The question is, will the truth ever come out? Because if this is real, if Cosby and others really orchestrated Malcolm's death to protect their legacies, then we're looking at one of the most explosive scandals in entertainment history. And we're only just scratching the surface. Coming up in this video, we're going deeper. We'll break down the hidden messages Malcolm left behind, the strange changes in his behavior during his final months, and the leaked voicemails that Ice Cube says were erased from Malcolm's phone after his death. We'll also explore how Malcolm's deathly mirrors the deaths of other black celebrities who spoke out against powerful figures and ended up dead under mysterious circumstances. Trust me, you don't want to miss this video. Ice Cube's voice echoed louder than ever. With eyes that carried decades of industry secrets and a tone laced with frustration, he leaned forward and dropped the bomb. Y'all been worshiping Bill Cosby as America's dad. But let me tell you something behind the scenes. That man was running things like a shadow king. And Malcolm, he knew too much. The room fell silent. This wasn't just some spicy celebrity drama. And this was something darker, more sinister. Ice Cube didn't stutter. He claimed straight up Bill Cosby had Malcolm Jamal Warner under his thumb. And when Malcolm started pulling away, that's when everything started going downhill. Let's rewind. When Malcolm Jamal Warner was on The Cosby Show, he was more than just a breakout star. He was Bill's right hand, a young, bright black man in an era when TV barely gave space to authentic black narratives. Cosby groomed Malcolm into being the face of that image. Clean-cut, respectable, obedient. But what the public didn't know, Malcolm wasn't trying to live in that fake bubble forever. According to Ice Cube, Malcolm had started pushing back quietly, refusing shady offers, backing out of suspicious business meetings, and distancing himself from Cosby's influence. And Cosby didn't like that. "I seen it with my own eyes," Ice Cube told the room. Malcolm tried to pull away, tried to do his own thing, and suddenly people around him start acting weird. Offers dry up. Folks who used to love him go cold. That ain't no coincidence. Ice Cube wasn't the only one who saw the signs. Other insiders, directors, agents, old castmates began whispering. Malcolm had started talking too much. He was reportedly planning to write a tell-all, something that would have shattered not only Bill's carefully curated image, but the hidden networks he was part of. And then boom, silence. One day, Malcolm's active doing interviews, quietly working behind the scenes. Next day, gone. The public statement just said he passed away suddenly. No foul play mentioned. No real autopsy shared, but Ice Cube wasn't buying it. You think it's a coincidence? Cube snapped that every time a brother steps out of line, suddenly they vanish. Look at what happened to Tupac. Look at what happened to Prince. These ain't just accidents, man. This is orchestration. And here's where things get even darker. Ice Cube claimed that Bill Cosby had powerful connections, not just in Hollywood, but in private networks that control media, healthcare, law enforcement. We're talking old money type power, the kind that could erase someone without leaving a fingerprint. And Malcolm, he wasn't just some actor with a chip on his shoulder. He was smart, deep into philosophy, black liberation, and history. He'd been working on a documentary about systemic racism in Hollywood, and Ice Cube says it was going to name names, including Bill's. According to Ice Cube, Cosby got wind of the project through back channels. Suddenly, Malcolm's close friends started getting cryptic calls. Tell him to stop digging. One source reportedly said he's playing with fire, but Malcolm didn't stop. And then out of nowhere, he died. Quietly. No public outcry, no real questions. Just another tragic loss in Hollywood. But Cube wasn't letting it go. He began reaching out to other people Malcolm had worked with in the final months, and that's when he learned about the pressure. Friends said Malcolm had become paranoid. He felt like he was being followed. He stopped answering his phone, stopped trusting even the people closest to him. Man was living like a target, Cube said, and he had every reason to. The moment Ice Cube shared this with the world, it was like a ripple effect. People started revisiting old interviews, re-watching Cosby speeches, analyzing the sudden shift in Malcolm's demeanor during his last few public appearances. He looked tired, nervous, like a man carrying something heavy. Cube said he met with Malcolm just days before his death. He told me flat out, if anything happens to me, don't let them spin it. Don't let them lie on my name. And I ain't letting that happen. Not today. Not ever. Let's be real. This ain't some conspiracy for clicks. Ice Cube is a calculated, deliberate man. He doesn't speak unless he has something real to say. And when he called out Bill Cosby, he knew the firestorm he was about to walk into. And yet he walked straight into it. Now, here's the real kicker. Documents began surfacing. Buried contracts, shell companies, and hush agreements, all leading back to Cosby's camp. Some of these documents were linked to nonprofit organizations Malcolm was once involved with, raising even more eyebrows. Were these nonprofits really just laundering fronts for hush money, or worse, tools for manipulating and silencing whistleblowers? Ice Cube said Malcolm wasn't just trying to leave a TV legacy. He wanted to expose the rot within the entertainment industry and Cosby. Cosby allegedly made sure that story never got told. Until now, the media has been eerily silent. Mainstream outlets barely touched the story, and the ones who did either watered it down or quickly removed the coverage. But fans weren't having it. They lit up social media with hashtags like hashtag Justice for Malcolm and hashtag Cube told the truth. And Ice Cube, he doubled down. He posted a picture of Malcolm with the caption, "You deserve better. They took you because you were brave, but your truth will rise." A single tear, a fire emoji, a storm of truth. If Cube's telling the truth, and the puzzle pieces sure as hell look like they're fitting, then we've all been looking at the wrong people for far too long. It's not just about Malcolm's tragic death. It's about a system built to protect predators, bury victims, and silence the ones who dare to speak. And now that Ice Cube has spoken, the silence is breaking. Now, let's get into the darkest corner of this conspiracy, the one Ice Cube allegedly couldn't stay silent about anymore. After mysterious fallout between Malcolm Jamal Warner and Bill Cosby, a new set of whispers started emerging from behind the closed doors of the Hollywood elite. According to Ice Cube's confessions, or let's say warnings, Cosby didn't just manipulate Malcolm's career. He may have silenced him permanently. Insiders claim Malcolm had been working on a memoir, a tell-all that would have shaken the very foundation of Black Hollywood. And who do you think was one of the biggest targets in that book? Yep, Bill Cosby. Reportedly, Malcolm had uncovered a pattern. Allegations, hush money, and secrets buried so deep they required a bulldozer to uncover. And just when Malcolm was allegedly preparing to go public, he dies suddenly under mysterious circumstances. People close to Ice Cube say he was shattered by the news, not just because the brother was gone, but because he knew something was off. Cube had apparently warned Malcolm weeks before his death. "You playing with fire, bro? These dudes don't play fair." But Malcolm was determined. He wanted to clear his name and stop being associated with Cosby's lies. That's when Cube reportedly started putting the pieces together. The timing of Malcolm's death, the rumors of the manuscript, the quiet behavior the Cosby Show cast after the tragedy, and a complete media blackout on the controversy, it all smelled foul. But why would Bill Cosby allegedly go that far? Let's be real. Cosby had everything to lose. At that point, his legacy was already cracking. Women were stepping forward with disturbing stories. His power was fading. And if Malcolm released proof tying Cosby to more cover-ups or abuse, that would have been the final nail in his legacy's coffin. There were even rumors whispered in exclusive lounges and private Beverly Hills meetings that Cosby had connections that could handle problems for him. Some say a particular Hollywood fixer with TIs to both corporate and criminal worlds had been on Cosby's payroll for years. The same guy people suspect helped cover up incidents in the ADS and 90s. And according to a source close to Cube, he believed that same fixer may have been called in for Malcolm. Let's pause and break this down. Malcolm starts preparing a book. The book names names, including Cosby. Malcolm dies under questionable circumstances. The manuscript never seen again, and the cast silent. If that doesn't scream cover up, what does? But Ice Cube wasn't having it. Word is he started using his platform to raise eyebrows subtly at first. Interviews where he'd say, "You'd be surprised who's pulling strings out here." Social posts saying, "Hollywood ain't just glitz. It's a graveyard of secrets." Even cryptic lyrics and some of his unreleased tracks hinting at a fallen brother and betrayal by a TV father figure. And then came the alleged private phone calls to media outlets trying to get someone to reopen the case, but no one would touch it. Too risky, too connected. That's when Cube reportedly decided, screw the silence. In a behind-the-scenes documentary interview that was never officially released, but leaked to underground media circles, Cube was caught on a hot mix saying they took Malcolm out and y'all know who did it, but y'all too scared to say it. That man knew too much. And Cosby wasn't going to let that legacy burn just because Malcolm got a conscience. Boom. Right there. That line alone sent chills through anyone who heard it. The footage was pulled within hours. Copyright strike. Channel down. Clean sweep. Too clean. And here's the crazy part. After that leak, Cube reportedly started getting threats. Emails. Random cars parked outside his house. A friendly visit from some execs warning him to let the past stay buried. So Cube backed off, not because he was scared, but because he wanted to live to fight another day. He knew if he made the wrong move, he could end up like Malcolm. But behind the scenes, he kept digging, and what he found shook even him. Malcolm's hospital report was sealed. Family members were reportedly encouraged to not talk to press. And one anonymous insider claimed they were paid off to say he died from natural causes. There's even speculation that Cosby had connections to a certain doctor on the medical board, a doctor who, interestingly enough, had lost his license once for falsifying patient records, only to get mysteriously reinstated. Are you connecting the dots? Now, fast forward to today. Ice Cube is still silent publicly, but his camp is allegedly gathering receipts. He's been pushing for a true crime documentary, one that will finally shine light on Malcolm's death. Not as a random tragedy, but a possible Hollywood hit job and the final straw. A source close to Cube says he's got video evidence. A recorded phone call, possibly involving someone in Cosby's inner circle talking about Malcolm being handled before his story went live. If that tape drops, few it'll break the internet, destroy reputations, and possibly lead to criminal investigations. The truth is, Cube may not be the only one who knows. Other celebrities who worked with both. Malcolm and Cosby might be staying quiet because they fear for their lives or careers, but the truth has a funny way of rising. No matter how deep you bury it, Malcolm Jamal Warner was more than Theo Huxtable. He was a truth seeker, a rebel, a man tired of being used as a pawn in someone else's legacy. And if what Ice Cube is saying is even half true, then we all need to take a hard look at the legends we idolize. Because behind every sitcom, Smile might just be a secret someone's willing to kill for justice for Malcolm. Because silence ain't peace, it's complicity. Y'all, if your jaw is still on the floor after that, you ain't alone. This ain't just Hollywood drama. This is a deep-rooted system that's been silent for far too long. If you were shocked by what Ice Cube exposed and how Cat Williams backed it up, then imagine how many other voices have been silenced behind the scenes. It's time we stop letting these stories get buried. So, here's what you need to do. Drop a comment below. Do you believe Malcolm Jamal Warner's career was blocked? And was it really deeper than just casting choices? Like this video if you're tired of the hidden Hollywood gatekeeping and you believe truth needs to come to the surface. Subscribe to the channel. so you never miss another bombshell exposed like this. We're pulling the curtain back on the secrets they never wanted you to know. And don't forget to hit that notification bell, because trust me, what's coming next is even bigger. Stay woke, stay loud, and most importantly, stay in the loop. The truth is out there, and we're just getting started.